So today we're going to talk about why a timer could become your favorite sex toy. It's sort of I'm totally serious, and it's also sort of a little bit of a joke because obviously you're not going to use it the same way as you would any other sex toy, but it can be a really helpful thing. And what I mean when I talk about timers is setting up containment or a container for your sexual exploration so that you can feel safe and held and have a lot of fun. So where does this come from? There's a study you've maybe heard of or heard about that the basics of it are someone, I don't know who it was, sent a bunch of kids and their teacher to a playground that had no fence around it. And the kids just clumped around the teacher. They didn't really play or explore. They just stayed right by their teacher so that they could feel safe. And these were like young kids. I think what I remember, they were like preschool age, so 4 or 5 years old. And then they sent them to a playground that had a fence around it, keeping, bad things out like big dogs that could maybe attack them or other people. And just also letting them know like what is in bounds, what's available for them. And the kids used the whole entire space. They were running around on the playground, in the field, just using up all of the space in a way that they hadn't been when there was no fence. And so that's what a timer and some other things that I'll talk about can bring into your sex life. They bring in some containment. And we need containment to feel safe. So what this does is it lets some part of your mind relax, like with a timer. So if you're with a partner and you notice that your mind starts to focus on how long it's been or how long something's taking or how long it should be taking or this is taking too long or like, oh my God, it feels like forever or whatever it is. Or if you notice you move on from things really quickly because you just want to keep things moving. Setting a timer can let that part of your mind relax so that you can be focused on other things like enjoying yourself or trying something new. So there's a couple of different ways to do this with a partner or whether you're exploring on your own. You can do it either way. So setting a timer is one, and starting off with small chunks of time. So I often will have people, and I do this myself, just set a timer for 5 minutes and decide what you're going to do for those 5 minutes. So it might be that, say you're with a partner and you're just going to touch each other's arms for 5 minutes, or you're going to make out for 5 minutes, or just something so that you have a container. You know that in 5 minutes you're going to pause, check in with each other, check in with yourself first actually, then check in with each other, and then see what you want to do from there. It lets your mind relax if you do all of those things where you're just, if you feel like you're going to get stuck in something for a while, stuck in something maybe you don't want to do, it gives you an easy out where you know that like, okay, in a few minutes there's going to be a bell that's going to ring or a buzzer or just whatever the sound is on your phone. And you can move on and start something new. And I'm gonna look at my notes. If, on the other hand, if you know your time is limited, you might actually enjoy it more because you know it's going to come to an end. And so it can sort of bring in a little bit of that like impermanence or the impending end, and then you really can just lean into the pleasure of it and relax and enjoy. So that's one way to bring in a container. Another way to do this is to designate which parts of your body are in bounds with a partner and which parts are out of bounds. And you can do this with yourself too. So you might decide like, okay, you can touch my arms and my legs and my belly and my back, but nothing else. Or you can touch me with your hands, but you can't touch me with any other part of your body. Or, touch all of me except for my clitoris or the head of my penis or whatever it is. setting things in bounds and out of bounds is another way to set a container. So what this one does in particular, if you're with a partner especially, and there's some place that you don't want to be touched, or some place in that moment that you don't feel ready to be touched, you can actually just relax into knowing, okay, I've set this off bounds. Like, say you're a woman and you don't want your breasts to be touched. It's like, okay, great. For now, until I give you notice, you're not going to touch my breasts. And then you can just relax and actually enjoy the touch that's happening everywhere else, instead of worrying that you're going to be touched somewhere you don't want to be touched, or that you need to sort of be tracking and paying attention to where your partner is going, rather than just enjoying what's happening. On the other side of that, if you're setting certain things off limits, it can help to build tension and excitement. So maybe you set genitals off limits for a while, because then you know that those parts of your body aren't going to be touched, and it can build the anticipation of like, oh, like I'm feeling so much sensation in my body and I really want those parts of my body to be touched, but they're not going to be. And it can just build excitement and intention in your body. You sort of get to tease yourself and your partner with that. A third way to build in a container is to decide which activities are on the table or off the table. So a really classic one here, with couples especially, is to take intercourse off the table. We're not going to do that. Maybe we'll do everything but that for this particular chunk of time. This isn't like a forever thing. It's for a period of time. And that there's other things you can take off of the table, like you can take any sort of genital touch off the table. You could make it so that you're just kissing and touching and making out. You could make it so that clothes stay on, but sort of within bounds there, anything is possible. And what this does is it frees you up from the pressure of something that maybe you don't feel ready for, or that's been challenging in the past. Or frustrating in the past. If you know going in that, oh, this isn't leading to that, this doesn't have to go there, then you can relax and enjoy the activities that are happening, because your mind knows and then your body knows, this thing doesn't have to happen. I can just enjoy this. And then on the other side of that, it can, just like with limiting which parts of the body are in bounds and which parts are out of bounds, designating which activities are in bounds and out of bounds can also build tension. So if you know that, maybe you set aside a day, this is one way you can play with this, where you can set up a whole week where on Monday with your partner, you can kiss each other, but nothing else. You're just kissing. The next day, you can do kissing and like touch above the waist. The next day, it's kissing and then hands only below the waist. And the next day you might include oral sex, and then the final day you include intercourse. And there's a way that you're just like building the tension and building the excitement and the possibility by keeping certain things off limits. And so that can be a fun way to build and play with sexual tension and excitement. Great. So the best part about these things is you can sort of mix and match. You can combine them. You can set a timer for a half hour and have certain body parts in play for that half hour. You could put the attention on one person or the other for that half an hour. There's so many different ways to mix and match and play with all of these. I couldn't come up with all of them. You can mix and match them in ways to create for yourself what really works for you and your partner. And they're really a way to set up safety. It's like the playground with the kids. You want to set up safety and containment so that you feel free to play with the whole space, right? Trying to see if I want to say anything else. Do you all have any questions? I like answering questions, so you can type them in or not. While that's going on, and if you're listening after this is live, you can add questions as a comment, and I'll definitely come in and answer them as well. Cool. So If you are in a relationship, no matter your orientation or gender identification, and you want more ideas like this, I'm going to be offering stuff like this like every week because it's really fun and I really like talking about it. But if you're in the Boulder, Denver area and you want more, you can go to my website, thiseroticlife.org/simple-sex. I'll comment in here. I can't type and talk at the same time. Whoops. Nice. Adam likes the timer idea. Yeah, it's really fun. It's super simple and it can just help you, especially if you're with a new partner. It can help you like ease into things and find out what is it that I actually want. Another thing you can do with it, I just thought of this, is if you notice, if you're one of those people, and there's lots of these people, where your mind wanders when you're having sex, or you get distracted, or you get anxious of like, oh my God, something should be happening. I'm not doing this right. I don't know what to do. If you set a timer, there's a really great app. It's a meditation app called Insight Timer. I'm just trying to see Insight, like INSIGHT. Insight Timer, and you can set a chunk of time, like 30 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, and then set up interval bells so that every 1 minute, every 5 minutes, or just randomly, a bell goes off. And you can use that as a reminder to check into yourself, or to come back to the sensations that are happening in your body, or to switch something. So often when we're in our sexual experiences, whether we're alone or with a partner, we tend to sort of get into a rut and do the same thing. And you might, whenever those timers go off, just switch up what's happening, which could mean you just switch positions. It could mean that you slow down. It could mean that you speed up. It's just different, like just change something, anything. That's another way to use a timer as well that can be really helpful. So I was talking about these intensives for couples that are happening. So I'm calling them Simple Sex because it's like practical, applicable stuff like this, of different things that you can do to help both reconnect in your sex life with your partner if you're having challenges there, or to deepen and strengthen and like enliven a sex life that's already really great. So if you want more information about that, they're coming up in December. They start in 2 weeks, and there's 3 of them, and you can come to 1, 2, or all of them. They're meant to be standalone days. They're just 2.5 hours, or all 3 of them will really build and work well together. So if you have questions, you can reach out to me here or send me an email. I'll put my email in here as well. And otherwise, I hope you have, it's hard to type, hope you have a great day.